Well, hello, gang. Here I am back at the dog park. It's a crisp April morning. It's probably going to get up into the mid to upper 50s today, but you can't help but have this bright sunshine still make you feel good. So I had to get outside and take the dogs for a walk. Got to go back and give my class lesson in about an hour or so, but I still got enough time to get out here and get a little bit of exercise. It's interesting during this whole time that we've been dealing with this coronavirus and social distancing, how simple pleasures have become more and more important. One simple pleasure I have not been able to get back into, only because I'm in the process of moving, is my model train set. I am a model train freak. My kids will tell you, I would rather play with model trains than do almost anything. I would rather be downstairs putting together cars, setting up buildings, running stuff around tracks than almost any other pleasure in life. That's my hobby. That's what I want. Simple, but yet profound. Oh, by the way, I'm on the other park, the one on the other side, instead of my normal usual one, only because you might be able to hear in the background the noise of lawnmowers, and they are mowing the grass. So I guess they're starting on that side, and they'll be over here later. So that is why the surroundings look a little different, just slightly, because again, I'm in that the other park that I mentioned in one of my talks before. There's a shot of the lawnmower guy doing his thing, keeping the park clean. And there's, of course, Roxy playing around with another dog here in the park, and Pappy joining in. So everybody's frolicking and having a good time. Yep, the lawnmower's doing its thing. A simple task in one sense. Just making sure everything looks neat and clean and trim and pretty. And sometimes it's those simple tasks that make us neat and clean and trim and pretty. It's doing those simple little things, like he's doing mowing the grass, that keeps things neat and in proper perspective. And that's the thing I'm learning now, is that getting back to doing some of the simple little things that I wasn't doing is helping to keep me neat and proper in my walk with the Lord. I always had a pretty decent quiet time. I've always had a pretty decent prayer life. But now I've had a lot more time to reflect on what it is that my prayer life is really supposed to mean. And I've actually had more time to actually think about cleaning away some of the bushes and some of the shrubbery and some of the weeds that might have snuck into my life, that my normal hectic, workaday world has gotten in there. It's springtime now, so I got to get out in the yard and start weeding. But do I do enough weeding in my own life? Yeah, I may go ahead and do some quick mowing and get things trimmed, but am I getting down and really picking out those weeds? Am I really looking at some of the areas in my life that it might be a little bit harder to dig up? That I might have to actually go and get some Roundup. What's a Roundup? Roundup, yeah, that's the stuff you put on weeds. Well, God's Roundup for us is His Word. So, am I doing, enough time contemplating and meditating on God's Word to dig up some of those weeds in my life? One simple thing that I've gotten much better at during this time of social distancing is learning how to better be still and listen. I've always had, I shouldn't say always, for the most part, I've had good quiet times. You know, my Bible study has been consistent. You know, I've got my morning prayer and in worship. But I realized that I do a lot more talking. And there's nothing wrong with prayer and worship, but I do a lot more talking than I do listening. And that's just a simple practice that I need to get back involved in. Got a couple of different apps that I've been using to help me, and you can find them online for your smartphone. One is the Breathe app. One is a Christian meditation app. There's the Pause app. There's a whole bunch of ones just to take time. You know, I may start off with just thanking God for just blessing me with life and asking Him to continue to protect me and the ones I love from this issue of corona. Ooh, look, I'm back in the sunlight now. I told you I was not a videographer. But I've gotten much better, or I've done much better recently in just listening to Him and just trying to be still and know that He is God. And you don't have to do this any particular time or any particular way, but how about, you know, once a day, just setting aside maybe 5 minutes to just be still and listen. Don't ask for anything, you know, don't even worry about prayer and worship, you know, praise and worship. Just kind of like be still and listen and see what God has got out there. I'm doing much better at that now on my walks here in the dog park, and it's great, but I still knew I can do much better. So, you know, take these times, especially if you don't have kids at home, or maybe when the kids are occupied, to be still and listen and watch what God says and does in your life. I think you're going to be amazed when we just take time to listen. Hey, hope everybody's doing a good job with social distancing. Remember, as I always say, it's social distancing, not social isolation. Social distancing good, social isolation bad. Peace, love, and soul, y'all. Bye.